Agents of the Resistance.
We must rise. We must resist.
Alright dudes, I'm gonna cover a topic that I feel could use a little bit of help. I have my brand new Icon variant Vitriol, fresh out of the box. I love it. I mean, the graphics are legit, but she needs a Warhawk. It's just something that I do. So I picked up a brand new Warhawk from Iron Horse Helmets, and I'm going to show you guys how I install my Warhawks. I've done it to many of my helmets, and I didn't have to really do too much to them until they started having the super vents, or the little ducktails. So a couple things that I want to make sure that I keep clear of when I'm installing them is I want to be able to open the visor completely. That way I can take it apart and install a new visor when needed. So what I end up doing is, this should be split in half. I'm not sure, I haven't really counted all these yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15. I have a feeling that this is going to be one longer than I need, because I think it should be 7 and 7 if I've done these long enough. So there's the first 7. And the first 7 is important because you are going to have to notch this back one. So we have the first 7. That's the important part. The back part, I mean, you can figure out afterwards. So cut it in half after the first 7. Okay. It doesn't need to be like pretty. It's just a freaking Warhawk. So since this is new, I'm not really too worried about this adhering to it. It's a brand new helmet. But if it's not a brand new helmet, I highly recommend that you clean it with either alcohol or acetone or something that's going to be able to clean off the surface of the helmet. So this one, if I were to leave it as is and just apply it without notching it, this visor isn't going to make it all the way up to its full spot to where you can actually take the visor off. So what I do here on this back side is notch it. So once I have the notch line, I'll cut in and cut in a little bit more from the bottom. Cut a little bit more from the top. I mean, it doesn't really matter how deep you really go for your notch, as long as it is notched enough to where it'll fit under. Obviously, you're going to test it with the visor open and the notch, so that's going to fit. But what I didn't account for the raise in this, so I want to be able to have this to where it'll sit flush. So I'll notch this a little bit higher. I mean, it's not really a piece that you're gonna see, so chowdering it up is a possibility, but I mean, it's not gonna be too bad. So notched, should be plenty of room for the notch to be able to fit under the super vent. Yep. Enough room up front, up top, plenty of room up front, up top. So then the only thing you have to worry about is center. So you're going to apply it as center as possible, unless you're trying to go for an off-center look or however you're intending on installing it. Okay, so now that you know where you want it, peel off the adhesive. I've had people come back to me having problems installing these, and most of them tell me they've gotten them off of eBay or off of, I don't know, some random store. And I always tell them that if it's not sticking, it's probably because it's a knockoff, or it's something that's using sub good enough adhesive for the 3M or whatever it is. I don't think it's 3M. I think it's stronger than 3M. It's some pretty thin shit. So it's about as even as I can get it. And then you just keep applying pressure, making sure that it's sticking. Obviously you can see the notch. You can kind of see where it's coming up and anything like that. And then you have your last part. So last part, oh, it's perfect. Oh no, it's not. So with the curve of this one, it's going to come in right about here, but you want to be able to have this top hold down. It's just barely. So right back here, I'll end up notching it on the bottom to make sure that I don't touch this back plastic or rubber piece. Just barely. And what that prevents is the adhesive coming off. I mean, obviously you can come up with better shit to cut with, but I'm showing that you can do it with a freaking knife. So just a little notch for it. All these rubber pieces that I'm gonna go to bed with. So I'm gonna want to line it up. Should be coming down right on the DOT sticker. I used to peel those DOT stickers off, but they became harder to do. They made them a pain in the ass to peel those off now, so I just leave them. So once you lightly get it on, do a check, make sure that this is going to be lined up the way you want it. I think it's a little bit off. It should be just about right. I don't know why that looks off to me. Is it? I think my mind's playing tricks. But whatever. Once you have it set, go ahead and press everything down. Make sure that's all sticking. notches up just right where I needed it to, so it's not touching any of this plastic or rubber, and I get to utilize the entire strip, or the entire mohawk. And that is the installation of the Warhawk.